Voters keep saying over and over again, we are not comfortable with this level of immigration. I understand why. It doesn't make you a racist to say that. And yet, the liberal parts of, certainly in America, Alex Padilla said last week, he is our senator here, by reviving Trump's asylum ban, Biden has undermined American values. And then they all stand back and go, we don't want to be called a racist, so we will not make a move on immigration.
I understand why people feel this way, and it doesn't make anyone racist for pointing it out. Yet many liberals in America act as if any criticism of immigration automatically means prejudice. Even Senator Alex Padilla claimed that Biden weakened American values by bringing back Trump's asylum rules. Because Democrats fear being called racist, they refuse to take real action. Now the left is being blasted for their failed sanctuary city policies, and Bill Maher has had enough. He says the idea was never realistic, he warned them early, and their refusal to listen helped create today's massive migrant crisis. This time, Maher isn't holding back.
It's again the same principle as I was saying before about like the reverse of what liberalism really is. Liberalism is, for the sake of humanity and compassion, can we get these people off the streets? And woke is, how dare you ask them to move? This is their home.
They have rights.
No, it's not. There's easily a better solution to this. Instead, they put them in hotels? That's your answer, hotels? Could everybody just stop the posturing?
I understand why people feel this way, and it doesn't make anyone racist for pointing it out. Yet many liberals in America act as if any criticism of immigration automatically means prejudice. Even Senator Alex Padilla claimed that Biden weakened American values by bringing back Trump's asylum rules. Because Democrats fear being called racist, they refuse to take real action. Now the left is being blasted for their failed sanctuary city policies, and Bill Maher has had enough. He says the idea was never realistic, he warned them early, and their refusal to listen helped create today's massive migrant crisis. This time, Maher isn't holding back.
Don't pretend that you love migrants so much, and then when we send them to you, you don't like them. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You're full of
Mm-hmm.
and we can see that. Yeah, you like them when it wasn't your problem because you're not a border state. And then when they show up in Chicago and New York, you're like, what are we going to do with these people?
Yeah.
It's true. We've seen many non-border blue states, like New York, Illinois, and Massachusetts, proudly support open border policies when it suits their politics, but completely fall apart once the migrants actually show up. These states were the loudest voices preaching endless compassion and welcoming everyone without hesitation. But the moment buses arrived in New York City, shelters overflowed in Chicago, and Massachusetts had to declare an emergency, their attitude flipped instantly. They talk about kindness only when it benefits them on camera. Yet when migrants reach their own cities, they rush to push the problem away or beg Washington for help. It exposes a huge gap between their public message and the reality they never planned for.
Eventually, this was going to come to a neighborhood near you. Having someone embedded is a good start. That came from the Secretary of Homeland Security. We want to thank him. But I've been very clear on what we need. We need to control the border. We need to call a state of emergency, and we need to properly fund this national crisis.
Mayor Eric Adams used to be one of the biggest supporters of open borders, proudly calling New York a sanctuary city. But now that the migrant crisis has hit his city hard, his message has completely changed. He's realizing that the idea of endless arrivals was never realistic. Shelters are packed, the city's spending is out of control, and everyday New Yorkers are frustrated. So suddenly, he's demanding tighter border policies. A surprising shift from someone who once welcomed everyone. But what about leaders like Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass or California Governor Gavin Newsom? They'll never admit the open border approach failed. They'll keep defending it, even as their own cities struggle under the pressure. Many Democrats quietly realize that the open border approach is putting the country at risk and pushing America's resources to the limit. Behind closed doors, they see the truth, the pressure on big cities, the rise in crime, and social programs that can't handle the growing demand. But when the cameras come on, they pretend nothing is wrong. Why? Because speaking honestly now comes with a heavy cost. Anyone who questions the policy is immediately attacked by the far left and labeled hateful or heartless. So instead of real leadership, we see fear and image protecting. They choose silence over action, and that's why this problem keeps getting worse. Immigrants themselves are now pushing back against the idea of open borders, and that's the part Bill Maher highlighted that really changes the conversation. The people the left claims to defend are actually the ones asking for stronger border control. Many of them followed the legal process, waited their turn, and worked hard to build a stable life. Now they're watching the system fall apart as large numbers enter, without any rules or accountability. They know from personal experience that compassion without order leads to confusion and danger, especially for vulnerable communities. If these voices are calling for tighter borders, ignoring them isn't progress. It's a serious mistake. Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul have reached a point where they're scrambling for answers. The migrant crisis has pushed them so far that they tried a new idea they believe sounded smart, giving migrants free plane tickets so they could move somewhere else. On the surface, it looked thoughtful, almost practical. But the reality hit fast. Hardly anyone agreed to go. These migrants didn't leave everything behind just to be shipped off to another random location. They came to America with purpose, not to solve New York's problems for them. The plan failed badly, exposing how unprepared the city's leaders truly were. Now the same Democrats who proudly called New York a sanctuary are quietly stepping back from the chaos they helped fuel, unable to admit that their own decisions created a disaster conservatives had warned about for years. It's nothing but double standards. Many liberal leaders have mastered the skill of saying whatever sounds inspiring when the cameras are on and elections are near. They talk about kindness, fairness, and acceptance, delivering smooth lines that win applause and make them look caring. But when those same ideas start causing real problems, everything changes. The speeches stop, the excuses begin, and the blame gets tossed around. The moment their uplifting promises collide with reality, they back away and pretend they never pushed those policies at all. It's political acting, not leadership. Real leaders take responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable. Too many liberals focus on image, not results, and now the behavior is finally catching up to them. Bill Maher makes the point very clearly. The issue isn't space, it's resources. The United States may be large and strong, but even this country has limits. You can't keep welcoming endless waves of people when housing, hospitals, schools, and support programs are already overwhelmed. Kindness without the ability to sustain it isn't kindness at all. It's a slow collapse covered with nice language. Maher says migrants should use that same drive to improve their own countries by pushing back against corruption and demanding better leadership. Coming to America can't be the only answer. If the U.S. breaks under the pressure, no one benefits. Saying, "Not now," isn't cruelty, it's survival. I wouldn't phrase it exactly the way Maher did, but he's right about one major point. Many countries are far less stable than the United States, and that's why so many people risk their lives to come here. They want safety, opportunity, and a chance to start over. But the truth people avoid is this: letting everyone enter with no screening, no documents, and no process doesn't make America kind. It makes America unsafe. When immigration has no structure, it turns into confusion and risk. We don't know who is arriving, what their intentions are, or how our crowded schools, hospitals, and neighborhoods will handle even more pressure. America can stay a place of hope, but only if it protects the laws and order that make it strong in the first place. If we ignore those basics, the country could slowly begin to resemble the very places people are running from. In the end, Maher's message is simple. Compassion must be balanced with responsibility, or the system breaks for everyone.